We have economic issues. We have what's considered a loss of national identity, a loss of sovereignty. The demographics that I spoke of, where these precipitous increases in populations to relatively small countries that heretofore were homogenous, along with economic difficulties in places like Greece, Portugal, Ireland, and Spain, which are affecting the whole continent, which are trying to bail these countries out.
You know, let me go back to something that doesn't resonate here. You know, America, I've always argued, growing up in the period I grew up in, you're a bit younger, I believe, but we grew up in World War II, which was a great melting pot for Americans. Every war movie any one of us saw from World War II always had the guy who was the pretty boy, and then you had the Italian guy, the Jewish guy. You know, you didn't have the black guy in uniform, not probably in that kind of fighting unit integrated, so he didn't get ahead as fast as the other ethnic groups did. But everybody benefited from that common effort of winning World War II, the tremendous ethnic sort of coming together, melting pot in reality. But the idea of being an American was not to be a WASP, it was to be one of these several groups that were fighting on our side. There's never been an experience in Europe to sort of bring people together, has there? These people just come in, they're brought in for cheap labor or for maybe technical skill, but there's never been anything that sort of compelled unification, no sense of common fear or common effort, has there?
I think you're absolutely right. The closest we got was the creation of the European Union. But with regard to immigration and multiculturalism, look, we saw Angela Merkel back in October saying, look, multiculturalism has failed. And we invited these people in, and now we have to keep them. This is something that is present throughout Europe. And the percentages over the next decades will show countries that were previously homogenous, countries like Belgium and Sweden hitting 10% Muslim populations. Here, it's only about 2 to 3%. By the way, I'm not advocating Islamophobia, but what I am saying is here we look at it more in the question of national security. I'm talking about people who are...
Okay, quick question. We don't have a minute, Brian. I have to ask you a quick question. Whose fault is it? Will the Danish, the Norwegians, the Swedes accept other people who look different than them, who have different last names? Will they accept them? Will they allow assimilation to occur over a reasonable period of time? Or is it the people coming in who don't want to be assimilated? Whose fault is it that they're not becoming Norwegian when they arrive there after a few years?
I think it's both. I think it's both. We have some insular communities in Europe, but here's what happens. You have people who are decent, hardworking people who are caught in the middle who happen to be Muslim. So on the one hand, we have a precipitous increase. We have economic and demographic influences, as well as the fact that people are seeing what they consider their national heritage and culture being stripped away and are acting out in an extremist fashion because there's been no way to ease this in.
Yeah, boy, I wish the leaders would be leaders. Thank you so much, Brian. I think there's always going to be 1 in a million dangerous, evil people. We saw a little Hitler arise here. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.